Hey guys, we'll get started here in just a minute. Jim's 80s shades. What's that? So Jim must be doing Facebook Live right now. Okay, cool. Jenny says he's almost done. Don't want to mess up with that, or don't want to interfere with that. So we'll start when he's finished, because there'll be people that probably are on that and want to be on here. Hey Mike, hey Jimmy, welcome. So awesome to have all you guys that are new to the group. Welcome to the private label mentoring program. We have a lot of fun in this group. Hopefully you'll see how different it is. It's just so focused on one topic and it's just crazy thriving. Isn't it, Jenny?
Hey guys. We love this group. Sorry, I was over on, I just jumped in because
No
Jim
problem.
got my attention with his fun stuff he's doing with his Facebook Live. We can't do that, I don't think, with this 80s shades. Yeah, it made me think of glasses.
Cool. Oh, Jenny, you know what we were talking about earlier about having like something behind us? We should sell the ad space.
Ooh. We'll feature your private label product.
That's right. We don't have to charge this group, but figure out, hey, go to Coca-Cola. Hey, do you want space behind us? We're on. We do 2 webinars a week, and we have hundreds of listeners. Thousands if you include everybody in the Facebook group.
Well, yeah, you got
thousands.
And then you've got the recordings and.
That's right.
Just because people aren't here, you can't discount these people.
That's right.
But you guys are the people here. We got 50 on already. Nice, guys.
That's awesome.
Good to see you.
I need to go live in the Facebook group.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to go to make sure I can get it.
Okay, we're recording. Steven says, how much to wear a shirt? Oh, man. We won't charge you, Steven.
We just got shirts in today that we ordered from our own account because we did these shirts for our church and we have a lodge up there that's a kind of camp and people can rent it out. And anyway, we just got all of ours came and they are awesome. Super cool. Can't wait to. So that's not a bad idea, actually. We can advertise it. I need a taller chair, though.
Hey, Mike. I think we're live. Let's see here. Check my phone.
I can't get it.
Yep. We're good in there. Turn it down. All right. Steven says we're good in Facebook.
Awesome.
Let's see. Make sure I get it. I'll share my screen. Sorry, you guys. You get to see all the background stuff. Okay. Should be sharing the screen now.
Yep.
That look good. All right. All right. So guys, we're going to dive into 2 hours of information. So try to go right into it, but want to quickly just give some housekeeping stuff. At the top left, I think, is where it is for y'all is a link to either do the chat or the Q&A.
Right.
So if you have a question, put it in the Q&A box, please, so that we don't miss it, because there's a decent amount of folks in here, and then there's also folks in the Facebook Live. We want to not miss those comments as well. We have Steven helping us out to make sure we don't miss those comments and questions. So if you have a question, use Q&A for the chat box. That's for chatting, whatever you want to put there. But we're going to go right into it. Jenny, anything else I need to say before we jump in?
No, just a reminder real quick to the people in the Facebook group that just so you know, we do, if you're watching there, we might refer to some of the questions and stuff. We're looking at a webinar software. I just don't want to cause any confusion. When you say at the top left, it's people who are in here on the webinar, not necessarily the Facebook group people. So if you didn't register and you're watching this from the group, we'll try to get to everybody's questions. But if you're having trouble, restart, turn off other Wi-Fi things. And
Yeah, especially in the Facebook Live, we've noticed that our phones a lot of times will just stop working with the Facebook live stream, and it's not your equipment, it's Facebook. Um, and so but it works totally fine on a laptop or a desktop. So if you're in the Facebook live stream and it's frustrating, just refresh it.
yeah.
But know that this is being recorded, and it's going to go, since it's being recorded in Facebook Live. As soon as we're done, it'll be available right then and there to the Facebook group, and it'll also be in the video section since we're doing it on Facebook Live. So one thing we wanted to say is that this is not about Q4 specifically. We're not going to be talking necessarily about trends and all that, but this is more about how to fast track it before Q4. So
you're ready for Q4.
Yeah, so you're ready for Q4. Just to clear up any confusion there might be with the title. But I know there's a ton of new folks that just joined in the group, and you guys are so welcome. It's an honor to have you, to be able to serve you. And so because of the influx of folks in, we just went through a whole webinar training series right before you guys joined, and there's 10 of them, and you have access to all of them. We'll probably end up redoing them again next year because, as you know, things change on Amazon. We all learn new things and want to present new things, so we'll redo them. But there's 10 of them, and so we wanted to do a 2-hour intense fast track through all of that, so that you could not necessarily skip those webinars, but maybe if you just got a certain amount of time to focus on this right now, that you could watch a 2-hour webinar and get the gist of the whole method and of the whole training in just this 2-hour time frame. So that's why we're doing this. And let's just jump into it. So this is the Q4 Fast Track webinar. What to expect. We're going to do a quick overview of the whole process. Jenny's going to talk about the 7-step test. We're going to do some finding of private label leads for you. You may have heard of the rabbit trail calls that we have done recently, and we're going to do again. And so we're going to do a shortened version of a rabbit trail call to show you how very easy it is to find private label leads in a short amount of time using completely free tools. And so we're going to do that one because we feel like that might be the easiest way for people who don't have an idea where they want to start to be able to find some leads right away. And then we're going to show you how you can source for private label. So that's mainly it. We'll be able to take pretty much everything we teach and knock it out in a couple of hours. Now, if there's anything you feel like you want more detail on, then make sure you're watch the webinars that we did, and then also get into the lessons. But let's do a quick overview.
Let me just, along with housekeeping, I'm just looking at the chat. If you want to chat with, you guys can chat amongst yourselves and ask questions. Sometimes that's helpful amongst each other. Don't, the questions, like Ryan said, put them in the Q&A. But if you're in the chat in the webinar, there's a little thing that says who you're chatting to. So if you want to chat with all the other attendees, make sure you change that so it's not just to our panelists. That just goes to Ryan and I, and we have Stephen on. So there we go. Just wanted to, Mike, awesome. Thank you. Okay.
Cool. So Jenny, what I'm going to do I want to stop this screen share and go to the one just for the infographic that you did because it's bigger. And so here's an overview of the whole thing. And I love Jenny's design skills because she puts this together just in one graphic. It's an easy way to see the whole private label process, the easy way, and what we call proven private label 2.0. And so we're going to go, we're going to talk a little bit about the choosing a product. That's going to be a big focus tonight, and the validation steps. And we're not going to get down here with the testing with ads. If you want to look at that, go over, it's lesson 14, I believe. And in the webinar series, I don't remember which video it is, but it's in there, and you guys can get more information about that. All right, so choosing and I think we just lost Jenny, so hopefully she will be back. Choosing a product. So this is where a lot of people get stuck when they do get stuck, if they ever do get stuck. And it's the choosing a product section. And so as Amazon sellers, especially if you have any kind of background selling on Amazon, you're very familiar with the product-driven side because retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, it's all about finding the products. It's product driven. It's going to a Walmart and scanning products. It's going to other stores and scanning products. It's going on to Walmart.com and other sources and finding products. But then we also have the customer driven route. And this is where we are looking at maybe keywords or finding things that people are already searching for and then matching it up with the products. And so this is a complete mindset shift. And we're going to go into this when we do our rabbit trails and show you how easy it is to kind of shift your mind with this whole route. So there is not a right or wrong on this, guys. You can do either. But let me quickly go through this section here, because if you've just got into the program, you may not even have had time to get into the lessons yet. And so let's go through these. So on the product driven side, again, there's not a right or wrong. Whatever, we want to get you to this section down here as fast as possible, which is testing it with ads, because not until you get down to this section do you know that you have a proven winner. And at no point in this process should you ever order hundreds or thousands of something that's not proven. And so we want to get you through all of this as quickly as possible so that you can test it. And so get over that hump. If whatever makes the most sense to you as far as getting a product started, you're going to learn so much through the process of going through it once that then the second time, the third time, the fourth time, you can switch up your strategies and do whatever you want, but just get through it quickly. And it's just all, you're going to learn so much. I watched or listened to Jim's last podcast, number 88, his very first tip about the 2 tips that you need for success in an online business. One is fail fast.
I love that.
So, and that's exactly what you're doing. So if you launch a product and it doesn't work, it's not a failure. You learn something, you learn the process, you learn how it works. And so fail as fast as you possibly can. And maybe your first product may not be a fail. So all that to say, let's just jump right in here. So product driven, everybody understands this side of it, but I want you to just, maybe this will jog your brain or help you figure out some ideas. So what knowledge do you have? What are you interested in? So if you've watched the PPI videos, Brett talks about surfing, and he talks about the surf wax. So that was something he's interested in. So he started there. Do you have a hobby? Is there something that you like, something that you know about? What are some products in that niche? There are some folks that have just come into the Facebook group that have told me where they used to work or where they currently work, and I won't immediately think of products that might work for them. There was one gentleman in the group that was did in the mortuary business. So I asked him if there might be products associated to that niche that he could sell and do a private label with. Because that would be, I'll skip down to number 4, that would be his low-hanging fruit. So for me, for example, getting into the mortuary business and finding a product like that just seems like that would be a daunting task. But if you're already in that, then you have much easier access to the wholesale sources. You may already be buying from companies that you could private label their products. So think about what you have easy access to that others may not. Contacts, who do you know? Where do people that you know work at? Do you know somebody that works for a company that produces physical products? Could you go to that person and ask them about private labeling of their product? Essentially, just think about your context. Think about where you live. When you drive to, if you have a job and you drive to work, think about the buildings that you pass. What do they do in those buildings? What products do they sell, or what products do they make? Guys, there's so much opportunity. It's like there's $100 bills. Jim talks about $100 bills flying around in the wind. You just got to figure out which ones. You can't grab them all. So which ones are you going to go after? And so think about where you live, who do you know, what knowledge you have. A big one that Jenny and I were talking about today, let's say you've been selling on Amazon for a while. What current items are you selling that have sold well, or what has sold well in the past for you? Go to the back end of your Seller Central account, run the reports. You go to business, you go to reports, business reports, and then sort it on the left-hand side. I think it's detail page, sales, traffic by parent item. Click that. The default will be the last 30 days, but then go back to maybe last Q4, Q4 before that. Go back as far as you can. Look at it'll sort it by the items that you sold the most of. And look at those products. Are there products there that you could private label? I know if it's a Nike shoe, that's not going to be an option, but maybe an accessory for that? Are there accessories for, maybe we were talking about dolls today for Q4 with Trend. So maybe you're not going to sell a live doll private label. You're not going to go to that company and do that, but could you private label a blanket for it, or
Right. Well,
products that go along with it?
and you can use that information to figure out how people searched to find your item. And then you have a whole slew of keywords that worked, and you have these successful products you have already been selling or that you have history on.
Absolutely.
That is like the biggest gold nugget right there.
Right.
Awesome.
Especially if you've been selling online for a while. You already have, you guys know if you've done retail arbitrage, you know what sells.
Yeah.
So how could that be turned into a unique bundle that you own the listing on, that you're the only one on, or maybe you private label it? And I know you're thinking, how am I going to private label something you found at Walmart? Well, just hang on, we'll show you. It may not be that exact item. It's going to be something that's like it, or maybe it is the exact item. And then the next one, research. So there's tools like the Jungle Scout web app that we talk about and have used. And there's a video in the mentoring program about how I use the web app to find private label products. And so it's just doing some research. And then reverse sourcing, we will talk about that tonight. Essentially, if you have a list or you have access to a wholesale company already or a supplier, what do they sell that you could just reverse it? So look at their list of items and then run those items through the 7-step test and come up with a product that way. All right, so then you got the customer-driven side. This is where the mindset shift happens. And when Brett and Jim talk about the golden gaps, this is kind of where we're thinking about that. It's where, what are people already searching for? Let's find out what customers are already searching for, and then serve them with those products. And so things that you can to find those types of items, use keywords, which we're going to do tonight with our rabbit trail information. We'll show you how to use free tools to find keywords. You can go to places like Etsy, Pinterest, and Google to see what's already trending, what people are already buying, and of course the whole PPI method, the proven performance inventory method of finding the golden gaps. All right, and then Jenny's going to go deep into the 7-step test. Now, this is not a hard test. This is just a very quick way to validate products. This will help you figure out if is this product even worth pursuing. And then we're going to go into the sourcing part down here. We're not going to get into listing and shipping and testing with ads. Those are all in the lessons, but we felt like these are the places to jump in right now. If you are brand new, never done this, the private label, the easy way method, these are the things we need to cover for you to get up to speed and be able to get some products launched and tested by Q4. All right, so I want to jump over to back to the slides. Jenny, anything that I missed?
You're doing great.
Cool. Okay, so we did the overview. All right, customer driven. And this is where a mindset shift might have to happen for you, especially if you've done Amazon for a while. If you're new to Amazon, great. You're probably actually at an advantage if you're new to Amazon because you're not going to have to unlearn a bunch of stuff. But the key to customer-driven product research is looking for what customers are already buying and searching for. It's as simple as that.
Typo.
That's right. No problem. And so this is the customer-driven side over here of our infographic. And then we're going to validate with the 7-step test. So this is your section.
Okay. So the
and we're right on track. What time?
We're doing good. We're trying to not talk too fast. There's a lot to cover. And so we'll jump right in. But the 7-step test, Ryan pulled this together, and it's what's going to happen. We'll go over it. And if this is all new to you, it might sound a little bit overwhelming, and you might want to have like this checklist next to you. That's kind of how I felt at first. Like I needed to double check everything, but hopefully we'll practice it enough in this call. And if you practice it enough on your own, as you're going through looking for products, it'll become automatic. You'll start looking for things that meet these this criteria. The 7-step test is something, like Ryan had said, that we is set up so that you can help validate products that you're looking for as potential private label. You can help validate them on the front end before you even buy 5, 10, 15, 20 items to send into test to run the sponsored ads on. Okay, so we want to do as much validation as we can on the front end to make our chances of having a winner at the very end a success. Okay, are higher. So first thing on the 7-step test is we want to make sure that we're looking for items that are generic and that they're not brand driven. Okay, so the question is with what does non-brand driven mean? What I like to do is ask myself, what are customers, how are they searching for this item? Are they searching for the item because it's a brand's name? Are they searching for an iPhone? Are they searching for because it's an iPhone, not because they just want a phone?
Mm-hmm.
Are they, how are they searching? Or are they searching for something that they don't care who made it, they just want the item? So we have a few examples. We can skip that one.
Yep.
Already covered that one. And so then, so here's our great example. I'm having way too much fun with Photoshop.
Goodness.
So we have coasters, right? So when you
do not do these. These will not sell.
they'll probably do really well with our, within our own communities.
As a joke.
I have a whole Ryan line.
Oh my goodness.
But it makes the point. Okay, when people are buying coasters, are they looking to buy them because they're Ryan's coasters, or do they just want coasters? They're probably searching for just coasters. They might be looking for a certain type of material, but they're not necessarily looking for Ryan's brand. Okay, so then the next one is another example of Nike shoes. So here, this is a brand-driven product. They are looking, usually people, they come in, they're looking, they know they want Nike shoes. So it's harder to compete. And so the types of items, remember, we're looking for generic, non-brand driven items. What is driving the sale? What is driving customers to this product? Another example, and this was, we did a little quiz in the, we did a little quiz in the Facebook group a while back where I had put out some brands that I found on Amazon, and I said, okay, is this brand driven product or non-brand driven product? And this was one of them, a Home Basics toilet brush. So is that brand driven or is it non-brand driven? It has a brand associated with it. Well, when people are buying a toilet brush, the question is, are they buying it because it's Home Basics, or are they buying it because it's a toilet brush? They're buying the toilet brush. They're going to search for just a toilet brush.
I'm not sure the CEO of Home Basics, maybe.
Okay. Well, some people might be brand loyal, but even that doesn't.
Exactly.
Is that really driving
the brand that has probably a following?
Right. Right. So
JB likes Nike toilet brushes.
Nike toilet brushes is always. They probably have them. I have friends who work at Nike here.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. I don't want, I'm trying to make.
The question is, remember, having a brand is not the same thing as being brand driven.
Mm-hmm.
It's what is driving the sale. Everything for the most part is going to have some sort of brand, but is it generic? A generic item. So then of course the last one is another kind of just a joke. But again, are people going to buy? Trying to just drill this home. Are people going to buy a toilet brush because they have Ryan's face on them? Maybe we need a different example.
Oh man.
Anyway, I don't think so. I think they're going to buy based on the toilet brush itself.
My wife would. I think she's on the live stream. She'd buy one.
I'm seeing the chat now. You guys
Tim
are
said
awesome.
He'd buy it. Yeah, thanks, Tim. I appreciate it, buddy. He's my friend. At least I didn't put my face on the brush part.
We're going to be giving these away at CES.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. You can go to the next slide if you want.
Sure. No, this is fun. Let's do it.
All right.
So again, gotta have fun, guys. At least gotta have fun with this.
Yeah. Okay. So remember, generic, non-brand driven. It's a product. A product with a brand is not the same thing as being brand driven. So just what you might need to do a little research on this too, because sometimes if it's a niche or a product you're not familiar with, I'll see brands and I'll be like, man, I don't even know what the product is, let alone whether or not this is brand driven. And so just do a little bit of Google research if you need to. If you're going into a niche that you're familiar with, you'll know right off the bat that, the Ryan toilet brush is not a brand driven product.
It's not yet.
So, not yet. We might change the world.
We might change the world.
Okay. So first one, generic, non-brand driven. And then the second thing that you want to look for is a product that's small in size. And the reason for that is if you've sold on Amazon before, you know that there's extra cost for oversized products. So you just, and it's easier to deal with. It's easier, cheaper to ship to Amazon. There's a whole bunch of benefits to it. So we tend to look for smaller items. Now I wanted to just mention that this 7-step test, we found that as we're teaching these methods, people need a threshold. They need a guideline. And so the way to look at these is guidelines. Generic, non-brand driven, the reason you want that is so that you're not competing against these big brands. Could you? I suppose you could. but we wouldn't recommend it, especially when you're just getting started. A small product, you could have an oversized product, but we're going to recommend that you stick with these guidelines to get started. And once you've gone through the process, you'll know and have a better feel for how you want to work these and maybe change them up a little bit for your own strategies. So you might end up finding a larger product that is profitable for you and worth pursuing. That just because small is on the 7-step test doesn't mean, oh no, I can't go and buy this oversized product. Sure. Just remember, this is like a guideline, and it's kind of, if you've done retail arbitrage before, you're going in, you're scanning things on the shelves, and you have guidelines, right, of what you're looking at for rank, what you're looking at. So that's what these are. These are guidelines. So we're looking, number one, generic, non-brand driven, and something that's small. The third one is that it's easy to replicate. And that kind of goes with the fourth one, which is simple, not many working parts. You're looking for things that are just not complicated products that are they're not going to break easily. So just simple, small, non-brand driven generic products. Then the fifth one is, we're looking also, and then again, this is a guideline, that the retail price be between $10 and $50. And the reason for that is because when you get, it helps you, items that you're buying, your costs, they are lower for that price range. So once you get, usually, and this isn't true for everything, but once you get to a point where a product is selling for more than $50, then your cost of goods tends to be higher. So we're just recommending, as you're getting started, use this as a guideline. And there are other strategies that we teach in the group, and we're not going to get into tonight, but Christy has a wonderful method of using promotional companies, and Ryan brings this up all the time. She kind of broke the rule of the $10, where she can get product using her techniques, and she shares the whole thing. It's on a webinar and additional training in the file section if you want to watch it. But it's where she uses promotional companies, and she'll get products for less than $1. 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents, and they'll be selling for $9.99 or something. So she's making a profit on it. There's low cost for her, and it works for her. And so she's learned to be able to use this as a guideline and how to adjust that for her own business. So remember, they're just guidelines. But these two are really important. So the last two, this sixth step is looking for the demand. So you want to know, we're going to show you how to do that, but basically you want to make sure there's enough demand, enough people looking to buy this product. If nobody's looking to buy Ryan's toilet brushes, then you're kind of, you don't want to pursue that. So we have a way to determine that a bit on the front end, so that you're not just putting products out there and nobody's even interested in them. You can figure that out a little bit ahead of time. And then finally, we have competition, and you want to make sure that the competition isn't too high. It kind of goes with the non-brand driven, looking for those. You don't want to compete with them, but there's other ways. We'll show you how to use Scope or Jungle Scout to make sure that your product that you're pursuing and looking at is not too competitive, and that there's enough demand. So that is the 7-step test. Oh, let me show you here. So we'll do this when we get into the next section where we go down the rabbit trail. You'll see this over and over again, but I wanted to show you, let me zoom in on my computer, because I need glasses now, I found out. It's a little small on my screen. Okay, so this is an example of the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. Scope has gives the same data, and it's free from Seller Labs, and it's displayed basically the same way. So we're going to just use Scope here, but so for this product, I don't know what it is, something organizer.
Car organizer?
Yeah, so when we type that in, this is the landing page. So this is the page where, the search results. Then you can run this little, the Jungle Scout Chrome extension, and it gives you this data for the information on that page. We're looking at the first 10 items. That's what we're going to look for. And we want to look at the estimated number of sales, because that will tell us how much demand there is for the item. And we want to make sure that number's meets 750 or more.
When you add them all up.
And you add them all up. It's out of all 10 together is 750 or more. Okay, estimated sales, and this is per month. And I don't know if you want to, I know you have a few tips that you kind of put in. Why do we choose 750, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, so that's just our threshold. It's the Jungle Scout is from a guy, Greg Mercer, and I heard him on a webinar talk about his threshold is 2,000 sales within the top 10 when you add them all up. So this is kind of small to read here, but when we do the rabbit trail section for sourcing, it'll be bigger and we'll be able to show you. But essentially, you add up the 503, the 2223, 246, 992, and so on. And you want that number to equal 750. So right after the first two, it equals. But his threshold was 2,000, and he sources from China. So sourcing from China, larger investment, more units that you have to order at the beginning. You definitely want your products to move faster in order to to make it worth it. You're not going to go after a product, source it from China that sells one a month. And so his threshold is 2,000 sales. So I just did 750 because it's less than half of that, and we thought that's a good number. But if you go through the first time and you want to make your number 1,000, 1,500, you want to make your number 500. Again, like Jenny said, these are just guidelines. But we recommend 750 at least, because then that just shows that there's at least enough demand. You're going to be able to sell your product. It's not going to, there's people that are buying it.
Yeah. And then the second thing is the competition. So there we look at your number of reviews. And that's that second column that's circled there with all the little red circles. So we're also just looking at the top 10 there. So that's the first 10 listings that show up on your search results. And you want to see that 3 or 4 of the top 10 have less than 50 reviews. And that's an indicator that it's not too competitive. Okay. So really, we're kind of looking at the top 10 as a whole. We're not looking at the individuals. Sometimes if one, and we might see this today as we go through the rabbit trail, we might see one has, 2,000 sales a month and all of the other 9 have less than 5. That might be, you do want to see it spread out a little bit, but you can determine that more as you get going, how much you want to see it spread out. It's kind of a little bit nitty gritty and can be different amongst sellers because there's different strategies to differentiate yourself from the competition. So anyway, but ultimately you want to look for enough demand on the estimated sales column. You want to see at least 750 sales in total within the top 10, the first 10 results. And you want to see 3 or 4 of the reviews of the top 10 to be less than 50. So that's the 7-step test. And it took me a while to really get this where I was thinking it without having to go back. Like I said before, you might need a checklist at first or to write this down, but I promise you the more you do it, it'll just become second nature. And pretty soon you'll be looking at products all over the place going, oh, that's a good private label. That's a good one. And you just want to go get that Jungle Scout or Scope data.
Right. Absolutely. Awesome. That's the 7-step test. Now, we get questions about people saying, or from people saying, do you consider this? Do you consider that? Well, we don't. We may in our own personal business at times, depending on what it is. But we're talking about how some people in our group have a lot more validation steps that they go through. And if we had like a 47-step test, nobody in the group would ever get started. It would just be way too daunting. Yeah. Too much of an obstacle. So we're starting with 7. And so if you have a product and it meets the 7-step test, just go ahead and find it, source it, get it launched, and test it. That's it. Please try to get over that hurdle as fast as possible. Then once you do it once and you got your second, or maybe you get to your second or third or fourth private label product and you want to add more steps, then go for it. That's totally fine. But just for teaching purposes and to get people going quickly, we only have 7. So please don't make it any harder than it has to be.
Right.
All right, the fun part, finding leads. Let's see.
Woohoo!
Stop sharing and I'll share my other screen.
So we're going to show you, sorry, you're up now, but we're going to show you that how to use free tools to find products quickly using the 7-step test. The tools are going to be the Amazon search bar. And then we're going to probably toggle between using Jungle Scout, Chrome extension, and Scope from Seller Labs, the free version. So you'll actually, I don't know if you have the paid version or not, but basically we'll see what the free version looks like.
Yeah, I have the paid.
Sometimes one is faster than the other, and so to save time, we'll jump onto the other one, but you'll be able to see probably both of them in action. But again, we're just using the Amazon search bar, and we're going to go down these rabbit trails. Now, we do these, like Ryan said, we do these calls. We'll do a 2-hour call with a small group of people, and we have so much fun finding things. So I'm curious how many things we're going to find. We are right on time. We're going to spend about 30 minutes going down these, and I will try to make a list. I'm not going to commit to it this time. So if you guys want to, if you want to keep track of the private label leads that we find, these are vetted leads that we're going to find. We will not have sourced them yet, and they will not be tested completely. These are just leads. So what this means when we find a product here that Ryan, when he's going to lead us through, when we find a product, write it down. And maybe take a little notes like, well, this one might be a little bit low in price. And so we'll give you some tips about what to do with that. Write them down, and we'll see how big our list gets. On our 2-hour calls, we got 40, I think,
40,
on the last one.
41 last time, I think.
41, which is insane. So we'll see how many we get in 30 minutes. But write them down, keep a list, because this information can be valuable later.
Right.
Although it is shared with 111 people.
That's right. Plus all the people that watch.
Everybody else.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so guys, this is what we call the rabbit trail. So this is kind of a preview of what we've been doing. And so as we're going through this, we are looking for. The 7-step test essentially is in the back of our minds, and so you'll get better and better at this. So you can literally start anywhere. You can look around your house and to have a starting point. You can start with something that you're interested in. You can start typing the letter K or the letter F or anything, because we're talking about using free search tools and free tools for this. And so the Amazon search bar is an awesome place to start with this, because Amazon is telling you, if you start typing, let's say L, and Jenny, I don't know if we'll start with, if you had a certain place we want to go start with, we can. But if, like, let's say you start with the letter L, Amazon is trying to guess what you are looking for. And so it's populating this with items that other people are searching for. And so if we were starting here, I would be looking for items that are generic, non-brand driven. That's absolutely the first step in the test. And so I would get rid of Louis Vuitton. That's not an option. A lightning cable, I haven't vetted this out or haven't checked it.
Tall.
Anything to deal with an iPhone, I'm pretty sure it's going to be way too competitive. Lavender essential oil, I don't know. Not sure about that one. LED strip lights, laptop backpack, label maker. I don't know if any of these are the place to jump into. But so we do LA, maybe laptop stand. That might be kind of big. Laminating sheets would probably be one I would actually maybe go into. But as I explained, is there a lot of times when we do our rabbit trails call, she already has something that a way to go down or a trail to go down. Do you have that, or do you want to?
I have some ideas. So
Let's do it.
one thing that we do is you can do the alphabet like Ryan had said, and that's certainly a way to do it. The other way is I like to come up with adjectives. So color, or some sort of other, like we did like striped or fancy, cheap, disposable. I'm trying to think of words. So maybe there's some, I don't know if you guys want to throw some out into the chat, and we do not rehearse this part. This is really showing you a peek over our shoulder of how to, I'm having trouble with the chat. There we go. How to find products doing it this way. Okay, I guess I'll just throw one out there. Why don't we try, let's try black.
Okay. Yeah, guys, if you want to, thanks, guys, if you want to throw out some stuff, we'll go down some of yours. So we type the word black, and so I'm just looking what stands out as generic, non-brand driven, small, light, easy to replicate. It wouldn't be a black dresser for sure. Black backpack, maybe. Black.
So you guys are in the chat. In the chat, you're putting it to the panelists. I don't know. You might want to change it so that it's all panelists and attendees, so everybody can see.
There you go. Yeah. Cool.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Go ahead.
No. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, okay, so if there's nothing there, then what I would do is do a space and then start doing letters. Black mask might be interesting, but I don't know if you want to do, and then do A, or then do B. Interesting.
Black & Decker, absolutely not. Black.
So these are the things that Amazon is assuming we're going to search for based on the way customers are searching. Black balloons.
We'll do black balloons real quick. All right. So Well, because the reason I clicked on this one, guys, is because I know black balloons are generic, non-brand driven. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about price point yet. I don't know about demand and competition. So that's why we gotta validate that part. So we're just going to use either Scope or Jungle Scouts. Let's do Scope on this one. And this pulls up the same amount of information, and we already got one right there.
Now
So
we're looking at it quick.
you guys can write down black balloons is the first one we found. And so
Woohoo!
here's what I'm looking at. The price points are a little bit low, but you can bundle this with something else. You can make this a double pack, 100 pack, whatever you want. So the price doesn't concern me. In black balloons by themselves may not be the thing that you're going to private label, but you could bring it, maybe bundle it with white balloons and make a bundle or make a
or
unique
ribbon.
listing or a ribbon, exactly. But so I know that it's generic, non-brand driven. I know that it's small. I know that it's light. I know that it's easy to replicate, and
Not many working parts.
exactly, perfect. And then, so the only other two things you're looking for is sales and reviews. Is it too competitive, and is there enough demand? And so in the estimated sales, I'm looking at the top 10. So if you add up all these numbers, 287, 417, 25, all the way down to top 10, then does it equal 750? And it does. It goes over 750. So it passes the demand test. Is it too competitive? So I want to see
That's
at least
awesome.
3 or 4 listings with less than 50 reviews. So I see a 14, a 12, a 13, a 45, a 13, and a 23. Definitely not too competitive. So this one passed. Write this down as one that we find. But if we want to go further, this is what we talk about with rabbit trails. So I might look at what the best-selling black balloon listing is on here. This one has a ton of reviews. Doesn't have a great rank though. Let's do this one. And Amazon is going to tell you what people are buying with this. And so if you've done any bundling, you know this trick. Frequently bought together. You could bundle the black with these shining light white pearlescent, they
Mm-hmm.
call them, and then these gold ones. And you got a bundle that's $29.16. That's a much, much better price point. You guys know the cool thing about this too is if you find a company that sells black balloons, most likely
They
they're
sell
also going to
other.
sell balloons like this. They're going to sell all different shapes and sizes and colors, and with all kinds of different sayings. So you could have, oh my gosh, and this goes even down, Christie's method. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go down too far. You guys can watch that in the mentoring program. If you go to additional training, look for 4 weeks and $100 workshop. Christy actually uses balloons as one of the examples, but you can find a company that will print on the balloons. And so let's say, for example, the black balloons says, you're over the hill, or happy 40th, happy 50th, kind of as a joke. But what else could be written on those black balloons? What else could be written on these balloons or these balloons? You could have one single product. You could just have balloons. That could be your whole private label line, but they could match several different terms. Happy 40th, happy 50th, happy wedding anniversary. Whatever it is that people are searching for, one product, multiple listings that hit different niches based on what you say on it. So that's so cool. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
I'm just gonna jump in. Somebody was asking how can we look for bundle. You had mentioned this, but I know we're talking really fast and we're trying to get through this really fast. We probably want like that recording, the thing that makes the videos speed up. Maybe this one needs to be slowed down a little bit.
Right,
But you're
right here.
gonna go to like what he looked for was one that was very popular, had a lot of reviews, was a good selling one. He picked one of the top listings there, and then he selected it and then scrolled down so you can see the rank. There was 5,400. Scrolled down, and often Amazon will have this frequently bought together area, and so he's seeing these three, the gold and the pearl and the black, are frequently bought together by other customers. So there's an idea for a bundle, right? And the other thing you can do, did you get this far? I was answering questions, is if you scroll down a little bit further, you see the sponsored products related to this item. You scroll down a little bit further, customers who bought this item also bought, and there you don't have just one or two, you have a whole slew. Look at that black crimped curling ribbon,
right.
And so that's a good bundle idea. So you can see what customers are searching for that have already bought this product and target that with a bundle.
Yep. So here's what we'll do. So let's say that we want to go down this trail, and Jenny, let me know if you want to go a different way. But this is a rabbit trail. So we found balloons. We did not rehearse this. We just typed in, I don't remember how we typed in
Black.
something black, and then B, and then found black balloons. So Amazon told us black balloons are something people are searching for. And so what else could you bundle with it? So this curling ribbon, right? Let's grab this, and what we do is, how would people find this item? We're going to see if this could potentially be a private label in and of its own. I'm going to grab curling ribbon, and if you're in this niche, you probably know better. I'm going to type in curling ribbon and see if this passes by itself. Well, all these things they're all the same type of product. Let's do scope because it's free. And there's another one.
This has a very low price point, but it does pass. But we're looking at the bundle, those two combined, and separately they pass as far as having enough, not too much competition, but enough demand. So remember, I'm going to answer this live. Someone was asking, I was typing it up, but remember that you're looking at the estimated sales column there, the first 10. Okay, and you want that number that will tell you how much demand, if there's enough people looking and buying this product or products like this. So you want the top 10 to equal at least 750. Right. Your number, that threshold number of 750 might change once you get through this process and you understand what this looks like for you more. But start with that as your guideline. You want 750 total estimated sales in the first 10 on this list. Then you're going to go over to the reviews and you're going to see how competitive it is. You do not want it to be too competitive. You want reviews to be at least 3 or 4 of them there to be less than 50 reviews. Okay. And that will give you kind of a sweet spot really for validating private label potential products.
Yep. People are asking questions in the chat real quick. A lot of people are asking what extensions I'm using. This one is DS Amazon Quick View. And it allows me to see the information there. So DS Amazon Quick View. And then, of course, this is Keepa. And then this is Rev Seller, R-E-V, V as in victory, seller. It's awesome. Saves a lot of time. You don't have to go all the way down. And then you can also do the price, the calculator there. All right, cool. So we got curling ribbon and the black balloon. So there's 2. And I'm not going to try to keep track of all these, but we could go further. We could go and see what else. So as I'm looking at this, what stands out to you as generic, non-brand driven? And all of these may be. If you get in certain niches, though, a lot of these won't be. And so they'll be easier, they'll stand out more. But all of these are generic, non-brand driven. And so we've done balloons. A tying tool, I have no idea if that would be a good product. But balloon tying tool. Let's grab this. We're going to go in all departments, because that's how people search. Customers don't go to toys and games usually and then type in something. They go to all and then do it. Okay, so we got a bunch of different tools. Let's show scope again. Again, Jungle Scout does the exact same thing. And do we have one? We do. Here's another one. Balloon tying tool. We usually don't get them this quick. This is
okay,
awesome.
I hope you guys are taking notes because I'm not able to keep up. Balloon tying. Well, okay, we got 2. I guess I can't.
3. Yeah, balloon tying tool is the third
one.
one.
And the ribbon.
And so again, the estimated sales are greater than 750 among the top 10, and the reviews, there's 3 or 4 with less than 50. Bam, another one right there. So you could bundle that with the black balloons. Awesome. You could bundle it with any kind of balloons. You could bundle it with the ribbon and the balloons. Guys, there's just so many opportunities. And that's why when people are saying, that they think is it going to get too saturated? Oh my goodness, think of all the so many thousands of combinations that you could come up with. Okay, here's something else. I don't even know what this is. Balloon rings. Okay, all right.
Oh, to make an arch? Like a balloon arch folder. Connect.
Oh, it's for the to tie them off. Okay, so let's grab balloon
so
ring.
It helps them. It says it's a connector. Okay. I don't know. I'm not in the balloon industry.
So the reason I picked balloon rings is I'm thinking, okay, so I was looking at the listing and I thought, well, how would people search for this? So I'm just trying balloon rings, and it looks like that would be a good keyword for it. All right, so let's validate it. This time let's use Jungle Scout for those that have Jungle Scout. And it looks like we got another one. Balloon rings is another one. Now, this may not be able to stand on its own because of price point. Now, this one's $9.99, so that's close. This is $9.99 as well. So It depends on, I have no idea how much these would cost to source.
What I see when I look at this is I'm thinking, all right, I don't know how many of you have gotten my book, the Hunt Method for Bundling. And I'm thinking this would be really cool to put with some sort of instruction, laminated brochure or a booklet that talks about how to make those cool archways and how different designs for how to do it or different ways that you can use these. I have no clue how to use these, but that might be something to bundle this with as well.
Cool. Mike asked, what would you price that bundle for? I'd probably just add up all of these, the prices that were individually, whichever one you wanted to bundle, and then add something onto it. You can even go $5 or $10 higher. Believe me, you'll think, well, why would somebody buy it? Well, they'll buy it for the convenience of not having to go from listing to listing.
Yep.
Trying to answer questions as we're going too. Okay, so we're still in the balloon niche. Do you want to keep doing this since we're on a roll, or did we do everything we could here?
Sorry, I'm looking at questions. You know what? It's hard to not be distracted.
Streamer roll. No, that's fine. Okay, so again, like all of these were the same types of products, more balloons. I saw something different. This is called a crepe paper streamer roll. Okay, the price point's probably low, but it could be a good bundle option. So let's go here. I'm just going to paste in crepe paper streamer roll, and then let's run scope this time. And sometimes scope is slower.
Guys, I'm telling you that doing this, spend a half hour doing this and you'll be just as quick.
And here's another one, guys. Crepe paper streamer roll is our 4th or 5th one. I can't remember.
Now that doesn't have a color. So we were looking at black. But a color is not associated for the landing page. So there's lots of options for testing there. Right. You might want to add color to it. Like you could say rainbow, you could put purple, black, or whatever, and see if that passes as well to niche down just a little bit.
Sure, absolutely could. So crepe paper streamer roll is number 4, 5, 6. I don't remember where we are.
I can't write them down anymore. Sorry.
It's okay. So it's fine. Okay, here's what I was looking at. Was saying with the 40, this is what you could do. You could take one single product, a balloon, and you could put. Why couldn't you have 41, 42, 43, 44, all the way up to 99, whatever you want, anything. And if people are searching for a present or party decorations for somebody that's turning 54 years old, are they going to go to their party store? Or are they going to go to Amazon? And well, some are going to go to the party store, but a lot of them are going to type on Amazon, party for 54-year-old man, or party, 54th birthday party supplies. And so you could have one single product and have all different numbers printed on this, and you could do it through a promotional company like what Christy talks about in her workshop that's in the additional training section.
Okay, let's go somewhere else.
All right, where do you want to go?
I don't know. Let's do. I don't want to look at balloons anymore.
All right, cool.
Let's see. I was looking at let's see what people said in here.
We had
scary home. We could try home.
Okay, just home.
Yeah, then let's see what comes up. So these are kind of descriptive.
Okay, so guys, what jumps out at you is something that is generic, non-brand driven, small, light, easy to replicate. Probably not a home theater projector, too many working parts. Home security doesn't point to a specific product. Home office desk, sounds like it'd be too big. Homecoming dresses, I'd probably stay away from there.
So a couple options. You could go to Home Decor and look at products there and get more ideas, or we could do a space bar and then start going through the alphabet again and see what comes up.
Home, what's a home kitty? So a lot of things that jump out at me are things I've never heard of before. Guys, I love the weird niches. So let's see what's home kitty. Oh, it's just I don't know what that is. It has so many different things.
Yeah, it's just a key phrase that is popular. Interesting.
Okay, all right, we'll not do that one.
You could. That's kind of a little more advanced. So we're gonna just keep.
The other thing that Steven taught us is you could start at the beginning. You could do B. So it'll tell you what items start with the B before the word home. So if you did this, bug bombs for home, blink for home, bun coffee makers for home, none of those jump out at me. Buying a home, building a home, bug catchers. Ooh, bug catchers. Maybe the smaller bug catchers. All right, let's do bug catcher.
Yeah, what caught my attention was the kids one.
You want to do bug catcher for kids or just, let's try this. Okay, let's see if this passes.
What did you do? Bug catcher?
Bug catcher. My scope, sometimes, I don't know if it does it for you, but it is slow.
It alternates for me between the two.
Darn it, we have one that does not pass.
Oh man, you were on a
But
roll.
we could always niche down, so we could do
I didn't
bug
see how it
catcher.
didn't pass. Can you go back
Oh,
so we can just kind of,
sorry.
you're zipping through this.
I'm going fast, guys. I'm sorry. We're trying to get
We want to get a long list
on
to you guys.
Absolutely. Okay, so the reason, and then you'll get really quick, you'll see as soon as you do this more. Mainly, I'm looking at the sales and reviews. So the sales, I can easily do a quick glance and see that in the top 10, if you add all these numbers up, you're way more than 750. And so in the top 10 on the reviews, I'm looking for 3 or 4 with less than 50. And so I know real quickly, I can eyeball it and tell that it did not pass. So we just quickly move on.
So we want to niche down. So if we put kids in front of that, I'm seeing that, or 4 kids.
Let's try scope this time, see if it'll work.
Did you hit search on it?
Maybe because that's free. No.
No,
Scope usually works really well.
It's awesome.
36, 28, and 20. Oh man, that's close. It doesn't quite pass. We got,
Okay.
if you count like number 11 and 12, it comes close. And so guys, where we talk about it being general guidelines. So let's say that you know a company that they're right down the street from you and they sell these types of products, and you know they're able to do private label and they're okay with you switching out the packaging. And you can order 5 to 10 really quickly and test it, well, go for it. But this wouldn't be one that I would spend a whole lot of time trying to find a source for. Okay, so what else?
Okay, we'll just
keep
going, or we could do backyard. I'm just looking at some of the keywords that are in the listings there. But
so here's what I did. I went to bug catcher and say, what else is Amazon telling me? Bug catcher.
There you go.
And so let's see. Now this could be oversized because it has that telescoping pole. There we go. There's one. Bug catcher net. Now, guys, again, the only thing I'm not sure is if this is oversized. This is 34 inches, but it looks like there's a 3-pack, and maybe they become 34 inches when you extend them out.
It says extendable.
So bug catcher net is one. Okay.
Okay, so somebody go back to home, and somebody had said, what about home office, going that direction?
Okay. Home office shredder, printer, no, nothing else stands out at all. Home office starts with an, let's see. Notebook, noise reduction, necessities, mat, mall, massage chair, magnetic board, message board. All those seem like they'd be kind of big. Home office mat. It's probably for a chair.
For the chair. No?
But we can see.
Yep.
Actually, I've sold these types of things. They do roll up pretty quick. They roll up. They typically are oversized, but let's run it. Yeah, it passes. So,
but it is oversized.
Probably. It probably is oversized, yes.
So it doesn't totally pass, but it does pass the competition and demand. What about those? Well, let's keep going up. Go up to get rid of mat and do something. Or I guess chairs are probably not bought with the mat.
Office organizer. We've done those on calls. Let's see. Home office.
L.
Lighting, lamp. Laptop desk. That's probably going to be big. J. Nothing.
Okay. How about, let's go another route. How about cake? Let's start with cake.
That sounds good.
There will be a recording, and this is on in the Facebook group on live. So when we're done, it'll be in the videos section. Someone's asking about that.
Ooh, cake boxes. Yeah, that jumped out at both of us. Okay. All right. Let's run this one. Let's try scope again. Give it another shot.
Maybe you need to log in.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, I'm not going to take the time to do that. But guys, you can use scope. It works great.
Just not for Ryan.
It doesn't work for me. Looks like we got another one right here. Cake boxes is another one that passes.
So remember, we're looking at the estimated sales there. We're looking at least 750 sales in the top 10. And we want 3 or 4 of the number of reviews of the top 10 listings to be less than 50. This looks like a good product. The price point is high, right? It's high enough, 14.
It is, totally.
And all of it. So, and Ryan mentions the extensions and tools that he's using. We'll list those out at the end as well. Somebody else is asking.
All right.
We
I
can
just
even put it
I wrote in the
Okay.
I answered a question in the Q&A. Besides Scope and Jungle Scout, obviously these are the ones I answered it in the Q&A. So awesome. So we could go, Jenny, do you want to go into this one a little bit?
Sure,
or-
let's see what people are buying with it. Now, Wilton is a baking brand.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if it would be considered brand driven. It's a well-known brand. I think it depends on the type of product. If you really, if you want a specific quality. So I think it just depends. With a cake box, I don't think it matters.
So again, just
I would test
run
it.
down through here, guys. What jumps out at you as generic,
Awesome.
non-brand driven? An icing spatula, I bet is. I don't think that there's, even though this is Wilton brand, I doubt, now maybe Cake Enthusiast and Duff, the guy who does cakes from Baltimore, he may have a specific brand and he may have his own private label. But people aren't necessarily buying this cake spatula necessarily because it's Wilton. I could be wrong. I'm not a cake person, but other than to eat it, I don't bake them. But
That's hilarious.
you're looking for things that people aren't necessarily buying because it's a certain brand. So this for sure, the aluminum oblong foil pans, and guys who are ASD with me, we, at least one of the groups we visited a company that does these. So I probably would just do aluminum foil pans. So let's again,
That's where I was gonna go.
because it's generic, non-brand driven. Let's do aluminum. I'm going to get rid of oblong and just do foil pans. Okay, we're going to validate this. Yep, there we go. Aluminum foil pans passes.
Sweet.
Right. Amy, you're right. Wilton is restricted for most sellers, so you would just do your own private label. Okay, so we got aluminum foil pans off of the cake box listing. Russian piping tips. I don't know. We could try that.
Or the sifter.
Okay, we'll do both of those. Russian piping tips. Okay. All right. Run Jungle Scout. Not quite. Okay, so I'm looking here. I see a 1, a 24, and number 12 has 22 reviews, but there's not 3 with less than 50 in the top 10. So we'll quickly skip that one. You said sifter?
You could. We're jumping around. There are strategies that you'll learn in this. Really, this is fast track, right? Boom.
Right.
So there are strategies that we talk about a lot in the group about what do you do then? What are there ways to get around this if it's too competitive? What strategy do I take? Do you just move on? Sometimes you do. You quickly move on. You'll find there's so many products out there. You'll find something if you just move on. Or you might decide that you want to dig a little deeper because you know you have a good source for something. And so you want to find out how to sell this product. And we can help you figure out how to do that, how to differentiate amongst the competition, and how, what keyword, we can just help you. Those are all strategies that we teach in the lesson. So make sure you're going through the webinars and the lessons that are already in there for you guys. We just wanted to do what we could to get you up to speed, and that's what we're doing here. So we are skipping over a lot of kind of the depth, just to give you the overview of the strategy that we use.
You guys could go deep into any one of these.
Yeah.
Okay, you said the flour sifter.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just.
It was there. It was a teal one on the.
Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, you wanted me to do that one exactly.
It's fine.
And it might be that one there. Okay, so I'm going to validate flour sifter.
And as far as I go, your screen is behind your voice, so it's hard.
All right, can you see Jungle Scout now?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so this passes.
It passes.
Flour sifter is another one.
It's a low price point. It's not too low. It's still above. If you look at the average price there, which Jungle Scout and Scope give you the average price, which is kind of cool to see that's above $10, but this would be a good bundle.
Okay, got flour sifter. Anything else jump out as generic, non-brand driven under the cake box listing? Cupcake boxes. So if cake box works, cupcake boxes might work.
Oh, and someone else had said, what about colored cake boxes? So you could do like pink or blue and see if those pass.
Sorry, I want to do the command click here.
Or a bundle, maybe. We didn't dig in to see what people were buying with the cake boxes, but the cake I forget what it was called. It was on that last page. It's the round cardboard that the cake is on top of inside the box.
Uh-huh.
I can't think of what they're called, but they showed up, and that would be a good bundle.
Here's another one.
This is
The single cupcake boxes. There's another one.
that has a higher price point average for the.
Yep, it does. So you could sell that by itself. So single cupcake boxes works. Okay. Again, we're just looking what jumps out as generic, non-brand driven.
There it is. The cake bases.
For a specific, what were you saying?
Sorry, cake bases is what I was talking about, or cake circle, Tasha had said.
What's the, call it cake base?
That's what one of them, cake drum, cake circle, and cake base are all the same, so I don't know.
Okay, let's try cake base. Okay, yep, there we go. What I'm doing here, guys, is I'm scrolling through, I'm kind of looking, are the items similar on the page?
It's just slow. It's faster for you than it is for us to see, so.
Not
well, that's
quite.
close.
So close. But, I mean, and then we could do
10-inch, or you could do, I mean, there's other ways to go down, I don't know.
Sure, you could totally do this 10-inch. Okay, let's try just 10-inch. Yep, there we go. 10-inch cake base. What about 12-inch, 14, 16, all of them?
Or set. But that might be a good bundle with the boxes. So someone had asked about like a pink, what if you did pink cake boxes? And you could go into the colors.
Okay, just make sure they're all pink because you kind of want to compare. There's our bath bombs.
Left-handed bath bombs right there.
Oh my gosh. For you guys that just joined the Facebook group, you have no idea what we're talking about. But okay, guys, here's a really good example. I like this one. Well, this doesn't count. Okay, let's pretend that the birth cake bubble bath bomb was the cake box. Okay, and you got 1,469 sales, and it's completely dominating the market. Okay, so technically, if this was a cake box and this has 1,469 sales, it technically passes. You got way more than 750. This item alone does it. And number of reviews, it passes that test. But this one completely blows away the competition. So you could look at it one of two ways. It's like this guy is dominating. Nobody else is going to be able to compete with them. Or you could think, well, all I need to do is on page 1 and I'm going to be able to get a few sales. Look at this guy here that has 51 sales a month. Yeah, that may only be less than 2 a day. But we're talking private label the easy way here. So, and again, that product, not even the same item. So it's kind of just whatever. This is where when Ginny said that the 7-step test is general guidelines. So if you have an easy source to get cake boxes and you want to test it out, and you have one company that's completely blowing away everybody else, but you can test it easy and see if you can get on page 1 and grab 50 sales, or maybe you're this guy with 18 sales. Okay, that's not great, but how many products does it take to, I mean, if you had 10 or 20 or 30 products that were easy to launch, that sold even just a couple a day, that's going to start to add up pretty quickly. So it really, you don't have to go for these ones that sell 2,000 a month. You can, and that's okay. And that's why I'm saying one person may want to have one product that sells 2,000 times a month, whereas somebody else may want to have 20 products that sell 2 times a day, or whatever it is. Okay, there's not a right or wrong. It's whatever works best for your business. So just wanted to throw that in there. But pink cake boxes and does not technically pass because it's not exactly the same as, you know, that the bath bomb is not the same product.
Okay, we're at 6:05.
Oh man.
So we need to move on, but if we have time, we could come back to this. I would say so. Sheila, thank you so much. She had has been making a list. We have black balloons, bundle with curling ribbon. Do those 2. They both pass. Balloon tying tool, balloon ring. So these actually are all things that need to be bundled. They were a little low on the price point by themselves, but they're all in the same niche. They could probably be bundled together in various ways. Crepe paper roll passed. Again, it was a low price point. Bug catcher net, foil pans, flour sifter, and the single cupcake boxes. Okay, so I wanted to just say, We do. You're going to see us doing these more. We're trying to figure out how to do more of these. But we have a 2-hour call. We call it the Rabbit Trail, where we get in. We cap them at 35 people to come in, and we spend 2 hours going a little bit slower, but we do get through it quick.
Yeah, I know.
But we're just doing the same thing over and over. It's very interactive with people who want to jump in and say, hey, what about this or what about that? And then the list of products that we find, the potential private label leads, those are emailed only to the 35 that sign up for that Rabbit Trail. So not only do you get this extra practice and training, but you also get a nice list of private label leads. We do that. We're trying to get those to be going on more often. I just want to say we're planning on doing one, was it next Thursday? And
I think the 31st, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the details will, we're working them through right now, and we will have them in the group. So what we'll do is create it as an event, and we will make sure you're on the ManyChat. Sorry, don't want to say that. Make sure you're on the notification for Instant Messenger. And we'll let you know when those things come up, because every time we do them, people are like, I didn't know. And so we're doing everything we can to get the word out. But just know we're going to continue doing them as long as they're helpful and useful to you guys. And we love them. We absolutely love them. So much fun. So much fun. So
here's where you guys can get the updates.
There you go. Thank you.
I posted in the, Stephen, if you could grab that link and post it on Facebook Live, that would be awesome.
Perfect.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your help too, Stephen.
And I know there's questions we haven't gotten to yet. We will get to them for sure at the end. But I just wanted to say, coming out of that was a quick rabbit trail. You kind of see what we do. If you want more of that, pay attention to the calls that we do, where we just do that for 2 hours. It's awesome. It's so much fun. It flies by.
Yep. And that's so much more fun to do than the other stuff we're going to talk about. Although this is an important step too. You got to source it. So, but it's so fun to find. And guys, we promised that was totally unrehearsed. We had no idea where we were going to start. And we ended up with some stuff just some crazy stuff. So that's really cool. So, all right, so great. You found this stuff. Where are you going to source it? How are you going to find it? Essentially, the basic source for private label, for proven private label, and for the easy way is wholesale companies. And the big reason for that, I don't know if that slide is in here. Okay, no, we'll go up. Big reason for that is you can start small. And so if you are new to the group, we talk so much about starting small. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever for you to go out and buy hundreds or thousands of a product that is unproven. Just don't do it. You don't have to do it. I know there's other courses that talk about sourcing from China, and they're great courses. Just when I got started with private label, I just was not at a position to spend that much money on a product. The product that I wanted to do and have done and still sell it would have been about $10 from a company in China. 1,000 units would have been a $10,000 minimum order for a product that I had not even proven. Just, it wasn't even an option for me to do that. And so when I came across this method, I thought, man, there's so many other people that would get a lot out of this and be able to start small, test it in smaller quantities, and then scale up. So the two main reasons that wholesale companies are a great place to start is because you can start very small. And so if you have any experience buying from a wholesale company, maybe you've been to a trade show, you'll know that the minimums are low, $100, $200, a case of 12, 1 or 2 sometimes. And so would you rather test something that you can buy 12 of, or would you rather spend $5,000 on an order of something before you know that it's proven? I would much rather fail fast and fail cheap using a wholesale company. But then the beauty on the other side of a wholesale company is, say you get through you've tested it, you throw it into Amazon, you've proven that it's a winner, you've run sponsored ads, you get some data back, and it's like, hey, I want to continue with this product. It's selling at a pace that I want to continue with it. And guys, that might be different from one seller to the next. What Jenny may find is a winner may be different than what I do. And that's okay. Your business is completely different. If you're okay with the product, it sells 2 or 3 a day, man, go for it. Because if you can launch them super quick and you have 10 products, I love thinking about things this way. And let's say you have 10 products, they sell twice a day, that's 20 sales a day, and they each make $5. So 20 times 5, that's $100 profit per day, and you sell one, and you do that every day for 30 days. That's $3,000. So 100 times 33 grand in products that you're able to launch very quickly. And so and that's fine. But you may be of the side where you want to sell one product that makes you $3,000 a month. Awesome, go for it. But you can also have, and you're probably most likely going to have a mixture. You're going to have some that just sell a bunch, and you're going to have some that just sell a few, or maybe even every other day or every third day you sell one. It's okay, because you can source them easy. You can source them quick, low investment. You're not spending much to test. But the two reasons wholesale companies are awesome: you can start small to validate it, to test it, and then if it does work, then you can go back to your wholesale company and say, okay, I ordered 12 the first time, now I want 24, now I want 36, now I want 48, whatever it is. You can scale up, and then if that continues to work, then and only then would I suggest sourcing overseas where you can get better margins. So where do you find wholesale companies? Guys, I wish I could say it's some super secret way that you're only going to find out about it in this group. It's Google. Google is absolutely the best place to find sources for your private label products. And so what do you search for? So in the lessons, you'll find that we use the example of camping tent stakes. I have no idea why I came up with that, because I'm not a camper at all.
We need Ryan's camping tent.
Oh, no.
Put the hammer down on the.
That's right. And so if you had a camping tent stakes, if that was the product that you had found, maybe you found it through a rabbit trail, maybe you found a source that has them, it's a wholesale company and they're okay with you switching out the packaging, which we'll talk about in a minute. So if you hadn't found a source yet, how would you find this wholesale? Well, literally just type in camping tent stakes wholesale, camping tent stakes manufacturer, camping tent stakes private label. It's as simple as that. And let's see what you find. And so we did this and there's just a screenshot of, it says there are 316,000 results. Now I know that not all of them are relevant exactly, and not all of them are going to be great suppliers for you, but just look at over here, all the different ones. You have Amazon, you have eBay, PTM tarps, that looks interesting. OpenTip.com would be interesting. Just type it in. And if you also, I don't know if this slide is in here, it's not. So let's say that you type this in and you, some of this, guys, if you guys want to dig deeper, this is webinar number 6 in the webinar training series where we go over this, but this is just kind of a flyby. We're doing this kind of quickly. This is absolutely the best place to start. If you're just jumping in now, this is the fast track. We don't have every single slide, but you'll notice that if you type in things with wholesale or private label, you're going to get a lot of listings or a lot of results from overseas. And if you don't want that, you don't want to consider that, then do camping tent stakes wholesale or camping tent stakes minus, do the minus sign, Alibaba, minus AliExpress, minus DHgate, whatever it is you want to filter out, and it will only give you the results that doesn't have DHgate, AliExpress, Alibaba, or whatever site you want to filter out. So that's a quick tip. But literally type in camping tent stakes wholesale. A company that has this is a company called Great Lakes Wholesale. They have Steel Garden tent stakes, and if for anybody that goes to ASD, they are at ASD. They show there. I took my ASD groups to this company and showed them around. They have so many products, and every one of them that have their brand on it. They sell things from Milwaukee Tools, and obviously you're not going to private label those items. But any item that Great Lakes Wholesale has their private label brand of, they are totally fine with you taking out the packaging and putting it into your own and making it your own brand. And so this is one that you could jump on. And if you notice, you can register right here. You click on the register button. You don't even have to talk to somebody if you don't want to. Type in your information, create an account, get an order. Now, if you'll notice, the minimum order is $500. That's a little unusual. Most of the companies are not going to be that much, but you could find several things to bundle together to try different things. So once you found this company, you could then go to the rest of their catalog, look at all the other ones. What jumps out at you is generic, non-brand driven that you could do a test for to get up to this $500 level. But if you didn't want to spend that much, that's okay. Fine. There's tons of other companies that have tent stakes that you can buy wholesale. But just create an account and you're in. Yes.
I just wanted to jump in. Somebody had asked a question about, what exactly is the role of a wholesale company, and it made me kind of think. I'll answer that in a second. Although I did answer it in the chat. It made me think about, we didn't get into this here. This is in the lessons, but the reason that you go down wholesale, this is a bit of a secret, and this is part of the foundation. There's a 7-step test the sourcing secret of using Google to find wholesale, using wholesale suppliers for your inventory, and then we'll get to the magic question later. Those are kind of the 3 foundational pieces of proven private label.
Right.
Because traditionally people go to China and they order there, and they'll get a huge container and invest a lot of money. And by going with a wholesale company, you're able to just start small. We covered this in the webinar we did on in the My Silent Team Facebook group. But it's just, it allows you to start small. And so that's why we're focusing. There's so many benefits to working with wholesale companies. Wholesale companies are kind of like the middleman, and they make it so that you don't have to buy directly from China. So they'll go and they'll get all of these products that they think that there's a market for in the States, and then they will bring them in and build their catalog. And it makes it so you don't have to deal with the, the language issue barriers, the customs, all of that stuff. So that's kind of the role and the benefit of wholesale. And they also make it so that you don't have to order these big containers. They will sort it so you can buy, maybe a case at a time, or have a low minimum of $100 or $200 in product. So there's a lot of benefit going through wholesalers. And if you're already working with wholesalers in your business, it's an easy shift to go into, what products are selling, go and ask them the magic question, which we'll get to. It's an easy shift. So if you're already there, maybe a good place is to look at the companies you're already working with, or the products you already have that are selling well, and find out where they're sourced from. For
sure, guys. If you've done any wholesale, a lot of people think private label is such a huge step from wholesale. With this method, it is absolutely not. It's one teeny tiny, I don't even know if it's a step necessarily. It's just a different way of working with them. It's just you're asking them the magic question, which we'll get to. And so I also wanted to say too, is if you've picked a product that you want to go for, you want to test, you validated it and it works, and you want to test it, and you cannot find a U.S. manufacturer, you can't find a U.S. wholesaler, all is not lost. There's a site that we just mentioned, AliExpress, and I know Skip McGrath, our good friend, who's in the group and is one of the experts in the group, he sources from AliExpress a lot. Christy Michelle in our group sources from AliExpress. You can get very small orders, 1 and 2, if you want to test. Now, you may pay more. You're going to pay more than if you order from Alibaba and have to order 500 or 1,000 or 3,000 units, but it's an easy way to test your products. And so you can continue. Ooh, it says the live video has ended on the Facebook group. Let's see here.
What says live on Facebook recording for me?
Okay, cool. Make sure here. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure.
I'm not watching it on Facebook, but I'm seeing on Zoom it says it's live on Facebook.
Okay.
Can you guys give us a little thing on Facebook if it's still going?
I can restart it if I have to. That's odd. It says was live. Okay, just a second, guys.
Oh, yep, there's an oops. Okay.
Okay, just a second here. I want to see if I can get that back because I want to be able to go. Ooh. Okay, it says stop. Okay, we may be back. Let's see. Maybe not.
Okay, while you're figuring that out, I'm going to go through and answer some questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see here. Let me go back. So, sorry, I need to look at them. If you have a question, if you can put it in the Q&A instead of in the chat, it's a little easier for us to find them. With some of the places that have $100 to $500 minimum, do you think that they would consider letting you order a dozen for testing purposes? This is a great question. This was just asked to the panelists, so it isn't in the chat. So if they have, will wholesalers work with you if their minimum order is $100 to $500 or even more, which usually it isn't, but if that's the case, how do you work with them? Now, what we recommend, it's all about relationships, right? So you want to go in and you want to, when you're talking to a supplier, you're going in to build a relationship. And if you let them know, say, hey, I've got this huge audience. I think they're really going to like your products. I like this product. I'm interested in this one, but I really need to do a little bit of testing. Can I get a smaller amount for testing? And then this is my plan to scale. And I just need to make sure that it's proven and that my audience is interested in this before I'm willing to invest more. But this is my plan to scale. Usually they're more willing when you come to them that way, they realize that you're a real business looking to do business with them, and it's a win-win. And they want to build that relationship too. So take the time to do that. If they're not willing to, move on, because there's more fish in the sea. You will be able to find another wholesaler. Another thing to consider, if they have a minimum order amount, if it's like $100 or $500, depending on what your budget is, you could test multiple products. So that might not mean that sometimes that means you can buy anything from their catalog as long as that's the minimum amount that you're ordering. And if that's the case, then look through their catalog, which we'll show you in a little bit, kind of a reverse way to do this, where you can start with the catalog, look through their catalog and see if there's something there that where you can get up to the minimum of $100, but you actually end up testing 5 products instead of just 1. Okay, so there's ways to kind of get around that, but my number 1 recommendation is to be sure that you're just looking to build a relationship with them and you're communicating that back to the supplier and to the rep. Are we back on?
Yep, we are back on. I'm going to go into the I want to grab the link to the one that's live now. Sorry guys, I have no idea what happened there, and post it in the comments section.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. Should be there. Okay, cool.
Oh, you know what? One more question, Stuart. Yeah. He's in Australia. We've seen, one of my favorite threads in the group is where people are from, and I am shocked to see, I don't know why I'm shocked, but I love it to see people all over the world in this group. It's so awesome. So awesome. His question, he says, I'm in Australia. How would I go about dealing with wholesalers and swapping out the packaging as if it would be viable to ship to? Okay, so he wants to know how can he package out, do that with the packaging? You can work with prepping companies. It might cost you a little bit more. One thing to remember when you're doing testing, it's worth it to do a smaller investment where maybe you're paying more per item to get those tests in. So you might end up, I like to see product before I'm going to go and work with the prepping company. Maybe you find a partner here in the States where you can have a product sent to them and they can send you pictures. You can talk about the quality of it. But I like to have at least a sample sent to me. So, it might cost you a little bit more in the get-go, but then once you're past the test and you have it proven, you can definitely just go with a prepping company that's here. So you don't ever have to see or touch the product. They'll do the bundling for you.
Stuart, you mean you don't want to fly to the States and grab it and then send it back in?
That might be cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, go ahead.
Janice, I wanted to address your question too. Ryan mentioned it at the beginning where the Q4, the goal of this is to talk about how we can get you all up to speed so that you can be moving into private label for Q4. We're not talking specifically about strategies for selling during the holidays. We will offer that and do that maybe in another webinar, but the purpose of this one is a fast track because we've got we had over 50% growth this week in this group. So we want to make sure everyone is getting up to speed as quick as they can so that they can take advantage of these strategies for Q4. So that's kind of the purpose of this this webinar. All right.
Cool. Sorry, you guys that are watching on Facebook. I have no idea what happened. I'm glad I had my phone here because it told me the live stream has ended. I'm like, uh-oh, I didn't end it. So something weird happened. We got part 2 going on, but I'm recording it in Zoom, and so I'll post that as well so that you guys can not see all the. You can fast forward through all the stuff that happened the last 2 minutes. All right. So here's the slide here where I talk about minus Alibaba.
Yep.
But I think I was talking about AliExpress before. If you found a product and you cannot find a wholesale company in the States that you want to work with, or you just can't find one at all, then AliExpress is not a bad option because you can get very small quantities. But let's say you don't want to do Alibaba, for example, or you don't want eBay to come up. You can type in minus Alibaba, minus eBay, minus DHgate, whatever you don't want to come up, and it'll filter through it. The other one is camping tent stakes manufacturer. That's another term you could use for your product. So whatever your product is with manufacturer at the end of it. And then the very first one that came up is Monk Industries tent stakes. And they are a manufacturer in the USA of tent stakes. So what you would do is go to them and ask them if you could do a private label, essentially. Now we'll tell you the wording that you would use here in a minute for them. And then why not go in reverse? So you could start with a supplier, test through the 7-step test, and then the PPI method through the testing with ads. So let me go to the Facebook group here real quick, and I'll show you exactly where you guys can go to find a big list of suppliers. Somebody just asked in the group. Okay. All right, so we're in the Facebook group right here.
And look, there we are.
And there we are, we're live. Okay.
That's weird. Okay.
Wait, we're not, actually, that's just the beginning. There we go, there's private label mentoring group. Okay,
There you go.
so you're gonna go over on the left-hand side and click on files and go to supplier resources. Now these are not always in the right, it depends on, like if we've updated this, it goes above other things, so it may not always be number 2. But click on supplier resources for private label. Oh, one quick thing we mentioned. Well, since we got a bunch of eyeballs here, let me show you guys. Absolutely start here. Use the start here file. Has everything you need right there. Additional training. This is where we have additional workshops. We mentioned Christy's workshop on promotional companies. This is when we talked about the black balloons. This would be where you would take her methods and use it for that. We have all these other webinars that we've done that are additional training in addition to the lessons and the 10-part webinar series that we just finished. So these are just kind of extra stuff. All right. And then the supplier resources. This is what I wanted to show you for this. We have an ASD list of the 2017 list this last August.
Let me interject real quick. This list, these are not vetted, which means we have not necessarily vetted. That means we have not gone to the wholesalers on these lists. There's no guarantee that we've gone to the wholesalers on these lists and asked them the magic question, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I just wanted to be clear on that. These are just a list of wholesalers. So you could even just use this as a wholesale resource, but we'll show you exactly how to work with them in a few minutes, but just wanted to put that little disclaimer.
No, I appreciate that. That's good. And so we have the ASD list of PL-friendly suppliers. This is a list from ASD, the big trade show in Vegas that I just did a couple weeks ago. And this is their list of companies that said they will do private label. We have a list of U.S. Wholesale suppliers, a list of U.S. private label suppliers. There's about 2,000 wholesale suppliers here, about 900 private label suppliers here. And what makes these different is these companies are specifically tailored to private label. There's a lot of grocery and health and beauty here. So I would start with U.S. wholesale suppliers. And I'll share my screen for this one. Need to just share my whole desktop. That'd probably be easier. Okay, so here's the wholesale suppliers. All right, and so there are
a lot.
1,347 wholesale companies on this list, okay? And like Jenny said, they're not vetted. They have not been asked the magic question. But the value of this is this section over here. It's column T and column U. Column T has the list of product types, and these are Amazon categories, okay? And so you could download this list and sort it by product type and only go, and you could go by category. So if you wanted just to find all the home garden and tools companies, sort it, and then grab all the home garden tool companies out of here. If you wanted to find a specific product, all right, you could search the sheet, okay? And I see, let's find one. Okay, sheets, for example, is right here. Okay, so let's search the sheet for sheets. Okay, and it's going to show me, all right, it's going to find all the items, and you guys who are familiar with Excel know what this is going to do. It's going to find the word sheets in this whole document, and there's one right there, line 34, line 116, line 501, line 896. So you could search it this way as well if you're looking for a specific product. Now, for example, a company like this one here, I don't even know what this is, line 1193 is Ramson's Imports. And a real quick tip, guys, if the company name has imports in it, they're most likely absolutely not going to care what you do with their products after you buy them. There are companies that have all kinds of different products, and they just don't care. You can do whatever you want with it after you purchase it. So general merchandise. So this company has lots and lots of products. So they may sell sheets. I don't know. But just to give you an idea, there's so many companies, so many products. It's ridiculous. So anything there, Jenny, that I missed?
No, this is an amazing resource.
We wanted to show the 26 California wholesale.
Right. So this is how, so remember, we're looking at going in reverse. So if you have a wholesaler that you're working with already, that you're getting inventory from, you're going to start with their catalog, start with them. So, but here we're going to show you just an example. So if you go to a website, one of the websites here, sometimes you have to register online with them and apply, and usually that process is super simple and it's right there. Sometimes you can just order right from their site.
Yep. So for example, let's say that this company stuck out at you, okay? And the reason this jumped out at me, guys, is because I know this company, they show at ASD. And so let's say that you were looking for something in the kitchen. Let's say you typed the word kitchen in here and they came up and you wanted to search their site, okay? This is something that, this is what you could do. And here's one of the products. Jenny and I did check this out beforehand, so we weren't wasting a lot of time trying to find products. But what you would do is you would look through here. What categories jump out at you? Okay, or is there anything in here that is interesting to you? Okay, so one of the ones we jumped on was kitchen. All right, and the very first one we looked at.
Your screen is the Excel.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay, so we went to California Wholesale, their company. And I was just looking at, look, here's all the different categories. And so we did this earlier. We clicked on kitchen and we thought, okay, refrigerator bin liner. That's very non-brand driven.
Generic, non-brand driven.
Okay, so we grabbed it.
Yep.
We grabbed that keyword.
It passes all the 7-step tests except for we don't know about competition and demand. So that's what we're doing now.
Let's see what works here. Did I break Amazon again?
Oh no.
No, I've tried it. Okay, so refrigerator bin liner. Okay, we're looking. They all are that same type of product, and they are. Okay, and I'm going to run Jungle Scout. You could run Scope, but Jungle Scout seemed to be working better for me. Okay, and so again, we're looking. Is there estimated sales there? Yes, there's enough sales. There's more than 750, and there are 3 or 4 with less than 50 reviews. So this passes. So you could
add that to your list.
Yeah, there you go. Refrigerator bin liner is the 7th or 8th. I don't know which one. Okay.
I don't know. 11th,
so the other category went to was
the only thing we didn't check here. The only thing we haven't checked is the price. So we don't know what the price point is from right here. And I don't know if it'll tell you. So we don't know if there's actually a profit associated with this. However, at this point, I'm not really concerned about it because I know we talk about different strategies and ways that you can increase your perceived value on your listing and make it so that you can compete even on price.
Yep. All right. So we did housewares, and we tried these. The glass, I used window lace, and that did not pass. I think we tried the striped shopping bags or the checkered ones. We got through the sewing stuff. I don't think we tried any of the sewing stuff.
No, we didn't.
And we went down to, it was the 3-wheel shopping cart. Okay, so we found this, and we thought, yeah, that looks pretty generic, non-brand driven. Pretty much all these are, actually. I mean, this is what these products are. And we went and typed in 3-wheel shopping cart. Okay, came up here, all look the same. Now these could be oversized. Some of them could be, broken down. Like this would probably be not oversized. And Jungle Scout on it. And we got enough demand for sure. And definitely have 3 or 4, looks like maybe 5, less than 50 reviews. So there's 3-wheel shopping cart. Okay. And then the other one we did 5 of them. We went on to page 2 of this company. All right, guys, and what we're doing here, we're just reversing it. You've got a company, you could ask them the magic question and make sure they're okay with us switching out the packaging. And then once you know that, then you know any of their products would work for it. All right, the other thing we found was a metal bowl set. You know what's really cool too is, so once you find a company that has a bunch of products like this, if you've launched one, you could launch all of them, all of the ones that pass, all of the ones that you want to test. It just makes it so simple, makes it so fast. That's how you can launch product after product to test. All right, so we did metal bowl set. Okay, we looked and they're all the same type of product. Run Jungle Scout. And it passes. All right, we got this. You got a 17.
More items for your
and a 2
for your list. It's awesome.
All right, so metal bowl set. And again, we're just reversing it here. Now, could we have found this through the rabbit trail? Absolutely. We eventually could have, but we're doing the reverse. And guys, just so you know, there's so many other ways to find products or find
Mhm.
suppliers. We're just hitting, since this is the fast track call, we're hitting on the ones that we feel like are the easiest and quickest to get something launched quickly. All right, and then the other thing, then we went to plastic storage. And then I scrolled through. I mean, I didn't only test. This one jumped out at me because it's different. A shopping basket, okay? So I typed in, I think did I do shopping basket or plastic shopping basket? I'm not sure. So interesting right here. Amazon tells us that a shopping basket is something people are searching for. Yep, this is what I did. Do Jungle Scout. And you got another one, shopping basket passes. So guys, you see that you could contact 26 California Wholesale, open an account. You already know that shopping basket passes the 7-step test. All right. Now, is this going to be $1 million private label item? I have no idea, but we know that it passes a
It
7-step
will if you put
test.
Ryan's face on it, right, Sarah?
I guarantee it will not be if you put my face on it. But we're just showing this is like what we have in our private label and a box product. We can talk about that later, but it's we have vetted products with suppliers, and so you could just launch this and test it and see, are people in fact searching for shopping baskets? Is it in fact a good private label product? Maybe you could bundle this with something else. All right. And then the last one that we found that was really cool, we went to flowers and pots, flowers and plants.
Yeah, this is cool.
All right, and potted succulents. These jumped out at me because my wife likes succulent plants, the real ones. And so I know these are fake. So I typed in fake succulent plants. All right, and then I look, yep, they're all the same type of product. And Jungle Scout, I know these are super popular right now. And then you got another product right there, fake succulent plants, that you could launch right now. You know, it passes the 7-step test, okay? So the only next step for this, we're not going to talk about creating a listing, but what you would do if this was a product you were interested in testing, order it from a company like this, order it from a different company, whatever. It's not about this exact one.
Right.
What were you going to say?
Exactly. I was going to say, even go to Walmart or, somewhere and just pick up some easy to test. So you get like 5 sets, or maybe you're selling them individually, however you want to do it, and send them in that way. You might lose a little money on the test, but it depends on what the minimums are and everything with the wholesaler. Sure. But you'll know then you can go and you can get a larger amount, and it's been proven.
Yep, it's been proven. So we know it passes a 7-step test. If you go back to, let's real quick, go back to the infographic that we have. All right, so you've chosen a product through the reverse sourcing method right here. This is what we just got done doing. We validate it, we know it passes. And so the next, if it was no, then you would start over. If it's yes, we'll go ahead and source it if you want. This, guys, is where, especially if you're new, the folks that have been in this group for a while, we find that most people get stuck, just can't get over the hump of either ordering a product or choosing a product. Well, you got a product right here. Order this, send it in, see if it passes. Okay, I don't know if it really, I mean, I know it passes. I don't know if it's going to be a winner for you or not. Like some people may, again, this may be one that sells a couple times a day. Maybe it sells a couple times a week. Maybe it sells 10 times a day. I don't know. You could look at, you could go further and look at some of the other sellers and see how many they're selling. You could look at different keywords. How else may people be finding a fake succulent plant? That may not be the best keyword. But the next steps then would be go ahead and create a skeleton listing. We talk about that in the lessons. Get a very basic listing created with the main keywords that you want to hit. Get pictures. You may be able to use these. You just would have to ask permission from this company here if you could use their pictures. If you can't, then get some really easy pictures, maybe maybe have somebody from Fiverr do it for you. But just get the skeleton listing created, send it in. And then test it with ads. And at this stage, you will know, is it worth moving forward with? Is it a winner, yes or no? If it is, you order more. If it's not, you start over, or maybe find another product in here that you want to test. Okay. Back to the PowerPoint. All right. Jenny loves talking about the magic question.
I do love talking about the magic question, because it occurred to us, and you've had this was kind of the whole aha for you.
Yep.
And so which started this whole program. And the thing is, what we realized, we were just kind of going over it quickly, and when we found out people were asking, well, I'm having a hard time finding suppliers, what do I do? And we would say, well, how are you talking to them? And the magic question, I am telling you, it's super, super simple. It makes all the difference if you word your question when you're talking to wholesalers this way. So usually what we found was that people are asking, can you go to the next slide?
Okay.
They're asking, can I private label your product, or do you have a private label program? And the issue with that is when a supplier hears you, let me close this, hears you ask those questions, can I private label your product? They think, what they hear you say is, will you help me, can you go to the next slide? Will you help me create and print my graphics on custom packaging for your products? What they're thinking is that you want them to print the graphics, to put the graphics on there. They need to have a whole design team and all that, and some of them do, and we'll do that service for you. But think about the costs that they have, and that means all of a sudden your minimum order might go up because they require a certain number before they're willing to add those services on. It's not worth it to them to do it for 10. So when you're asking, can I private label your product, they're hearing, will you help me create and print my graphics on custom packaging for your products? So what you want to ask them is the magic question. Can I take your product out of its package and put it into my own? That's what you want to ask them. And then you're telling them what they will say is okay. And you're telling them then that you're willing to do the work. You're not asking them to do the work anymore. You just want them to either don't put it in the packaging, put it in plain packaging, and asking them not to put their own label on it, which saves them money. Or if you can just do all the work yourself. And they're usually pretty happy with that. And honestly, like 98%, 99% of the suppliers that we talk to, they really, when they understand what it is you're trying to do, and it goes back to building that relationship, when they understand, then they'll say yes most of the time. And if not, you move on, because you'll find somebody that does. The question again, it's, can I take your product out of its package and put it into my own? Okay. I'm just going to say it one more time. What's the magic question?
I'm typing it in the chat there. Cool. Somebody asked me to go back one slide.
Oh, gotcha.
I could have went forward one slide. It was on the next one.
So
guys, this is key. Don't overthink this. Another thing, Jenny and I are going to do a webinar in the Facebook group, totally free, called the 10 ways you're making private label the easy way hard. And when we do these rabbit trail calls that that 30-minute preview type thing where we found those 6 or 7 products, people on that call are thinking, man, this is so simple. They tell us in the chat that that they overthink the process. Please, especially for brand new to this group, it is as easy as we make it sound in the lessons and in the webinar series. Do not make it any harder. You're looking for just the 7-step test. You validate it by that. And then when you find a wholesale company or another supplier, ask them this question. You can put it in your own voice and just make sure you say it this way. You want to make sure, like Jenny said, that they understand that you want to do the work, not them. They will do it for you. A lot of them will take that, and a lot of them have that service, but the minimums are higher. And so if you get to a point to where your product's selling and you're tired of doing that work, or you don't want your prep company to do that work, a lot of these companies will do it for you, but they'll need 500 or 1,000 units. And just don't do that at the beginning. But once you've got it proven and you're selling that many and you want to take a step out of the process, well, absolutely have them do it for you. But you need to make sure, this is key, that they understand that you want to do the work, that you want to buy it like every other company, like at a trade show, that you're just like all these other companies that are there buying it for their retail store. They're buying 1 or 2, 3 or 4 cases. You want to do the same thing. So don't use the word private label, because it triggers a whole other response, and it triggers something else in their mind. They need to know, again, that you want to do the work of switching out the packaging. And it is that simple. Do not make it any harder than that.
You don't even have to ask them if you can put your own label on it. All of those are kind of trigger words, and they just understand that to mean something a little bit different than what you're really meaning at this point. Ultimately, you might want to do that and go and have them put the label on, like Ryan was saying. But when you're just getting to know them, you're just trying to get this permission, you really just want to ask them, can I take your product out of its package and put it into my own? And I'm not kidding you. Most of them will say, sure, no problem. I get it. Not a big deal. They don't care. And in fact, we had someone who recorded their call and they were calling a supplier, and they asked him this question, and they said, yeah, I don't care what you do with it. And he said, well, can I get that in writing? And he said, why?
Why do you need it in writing?
So yeah, so it was, they just don't care. They really don't. They don't care what you do. And your packaging might be as simple. I mean, think of it in terms of like, you have like those gift baskets and it's all these products. That gift basket is your packaging, or a mug in a box that matches the mug. That box is the packaging. So, so that's the magic question. Can I take your product out of its package and put it into my own? So far we've touched on the 7-step test, which you practice that. You'll know it by the back of your hand. We've touched on the best place to source is with wholesale companies. We've given you a list of over 1,000 wholesale companies inside the group. Remember, they're not vetted, so you do need to ask them this magic question. We've given you the magic question that just opens up the floodgates to build these relationships. Can I take your product out of its package and put it into my own? And those are the keys. That is the foundation for the proven private label strategy that we teach, that we've built the lessons around. We totally cut a lot of corners. A lot of the lessons, if you go into, we'll talk about setting goals and the different ways that you can move into this. We dig a little bit deeper in the research. We dig deeper into the sponsored ads and what you would do with it after, for testing. But this will get you started and get you moving in the right direction so that you're ready to go for Q4. And you can start testing and having products lined up. And just continue that inflow.
Yep. Absolutely. What's next? I think I
think we're done.
What is the magic question?
What's the magic question? I can't hear you. No,
that's right. Oh, Jimmy asked, should I ask, can I take your product out of its package and put Ryan's face on it? The answer will probably be no. Don't do that. All right,
okay, we have a lot of questions. I know.
13 minutes before we can go a little bit longer if we need to. I want to make sure people get any questions answered. But
okay, let me look.
I've been answering as you've been talking too.
Okay. Do you want to
Somebody asked about prep companies that are good for private label. I posted 2 in the answer to that. Can you review the data that's most important when you're in the proven stage? Okay, let's see. Maybe you mean by like.
What do you mean by proven stage, Sheila?
Probably after it's proven. Okay, we'll do real quick. What we would do after it's proven, you proved it's a winner, you would just order more. You would just continue ordering more. Oh, ad placement. Yeah. Oh man, that's a whole other.
So that's lesson that if you want to jump to that, I wouldn't do it yet, but you go and do this. Find some leads, work with some wholesalers, get the products on when they're en route to you. And you're going to send them in for testing, then you can jump ahead. I think it's lesson 14. I might be wrong, and I don't have it right in front of me. Lesson 14, I think, talks about, we did it with Billy from Brett's team, and it talks about how to do the sponsored ads, how to read the data. So you have the time from getting your product in, and then you're going to set up your ads and run them for 7 days before you even get the data back. So you have a little bit of time there to do some learning at that point. Again, this is total fast track, and I don't want to overwhelm people who just need to kind of sequentially go through.
Okay, so Sheila was clarified the question. So what data is used to say this is a winner? Okay, so that's where it comes down to whatever's best for you. What a winner for you may not be a winner for me. I may be okay with the product that sells 1 a day. If I can source it very easily, you may want to have a product that sells 10 times a day and not bother with it if it's at the 7 per sale a day level. So it really, whatever works best for you. Beth, what is the recommended quantity for testing? In the lessons, we say 5 to 20 or 5 to 25, I think. The reason is such that the big range is you only need a few. You can test it with 3 to 4, but we've had people in the group that send in 3 or 4 and they sell them really quickly, and they're like, well, I didn't get any data back because it sold. Well, you actually have a good problem because you know that whatever you had worked, so just continue to send more in. But it's nice to have enough to where if you sell a few, you can still get that ad data. But if there's not it's whatever is a small amount for you. We saw somebody in the group, Jenny, I think they said they had a small order of 193.
Yeah, I saw that.
And for me, that's not a small amount for testing, but if 193 is you need to, if your supplier comes back and says we have to have 193 for you to buy it,
that works for you, then
and that works for you, that's fine. Whatever a small order is for you is the answer.
Okay. Also a question: what do I search for if I'm looking to customize products? another color that the wholesaler doesn't carry or manufacturers. Okay, my initial thought was you can search by adding custom instead of wholesaler. So if you want to find a customized product, and I'm thinking more along the lines of promotional companies, but if you want to do, okay, where'd that go there? Sorry, it jumped. If you want to find another color, I'd contact the wholesaler and see if they can work with you on that at all. They might send you to a manufacturer. I know, Ryan, when you contacted your wholesaler, it was the manufacturer. They actually sent you to the wholesaler. So they have connections that maybe you don't have, or you can change your search so that you're searching for custom. If it's balloons, custom balloons, add that to your search.
Okay.
Terms.
Jimmy says, oh wait, the one of.
Sorry, I deleted that.
Long fam, what service do you use to get your main picture besides doing business with Fiverr? I've used Fiverr before. I think I'm in a partnership with some other guys, and they found a photographer. I honestly don't know. Anybody that does product photography can do it. Please don't spend a lot of money on the test listing. Try to get if you try to use the pictures from the company you get them from, just because that'll be free. You don't want to spend a lot of money up front before it's proven. After it's proven,
Right.
man, spend whatever you want to spend to make your listing stand out. Especially, like we talk about this in the lessons, but lifestyle photos. If let's say your product is a glass, you want to have pictures of people standing in the kitchen with your glass. It just makes it different. But Fiverr's great, honestly. I think it's a great place to find stuff cheap.
Right, and you know what? If you want to do the photos yourself, my daughter, she did a great video tutorial, short tutorial of how to take pictures. We did a left-handed bath bomb, and that video, I think it's under videos in the Facebook group. That was just done a few weeks ago. It's like a 3-minute long video. She shows you how to use the Amazon Seller app. There's a photo studio in the Amazon Seller app where you can just put the product on a white background.
Oh, yeah,
she actually walks you through that.
Yep.
It's just a video with music. And so it's super simple. She's 14. She figured it out and does it. We get great pictures that way. So,
Jimmy, you asked if you only have 2 of something, can you merchant fulfill it to get more data so it won't sell as quickly? Okay, so I always use FBA. I've heard people say that I've not tried it merchant fulfilled. You will get some data, but most people are more likely to look for the prime listing. So they are going to want, it's not going to be the same data. It may take longer to get data. And so it's best to send it in to Amazon. You're going to get the best data that way. But if you absolutely want to, just try it. You try it and see if you get what you need from it. Mariana, so we create our own branded packaging for the test order and just put the product we get wholesale in it, or do we use the product as is for testing? Okay, you could use either. You could do either. You need to have your own unique listing to be able to get the ad data. So it can't be a listing that you're sharing with somebody else. And so you could grab the item from the wholesale company and list it under their brand, as long as it's not on Amazon already that way, because you need to have a unique listing. If it is on Amazon already as is, you could bundle it with something else. Brett's team talks about starting small by going to a retail store and finding the item that you want to test. And so a lot of times those items are going to be on Amazon by themselves, but bundle it with something else to create a unique listing to be able to run ads to those search terms, to be able to test if it's a winner or not. But what we are most of the time we're talking about, Mariana, is using your own brand, taking it out of the packaging and put it in your own packaging, but we're talking simple packaging. We're not talking about super fancy boxes, anything fancy for the test phase. Polybags.
A polybag,
is perfect. You don't even need a sticker to start with. Just throw it up there in a polybag under your brand. You can make up the brand name because you don't even know for sure if you're going to go with that brand name. Now check the USPTO site, and we talk about this in the lessons. Check the USPTO database. It's uspto.gov. See if anybody's using that name before you do it. But if there's not, go ahead and create a listing with that brand name. If you want to do a sticker, you can. You don't even need to worry about design and logo and all that. But as simple as you can at the beginning. Then if it's proven and then it works, then go to a box if you want, or a nicer poly bag. You know, guys, some products I've never graduated to nicer packaging. Amazon customers do not care. Unless it's in a niche that everybody else has super nice packaging, then as long as everybody else is at a certain level, you don't necessarily need to have it super nice. People on Amazon don't care about the packaging. Think about frustration-free packaging from Amazon. Those are just plain white and brown boxes. Liability on private label. This is a question everybody's going to have a different answer. So I stay away from products that I'm concerned about liability. I don't do baby, I don't do topical, I don't do things that people ingest. If you are going to, I definitely would look at getting insurance for that. There's a girl in our group, Ashlyn Haddon, who does private label insurance, to check that out. Honestly, the answer to that is just whatever you're comfortable with. If you are uncomfortable selling a product and not having insurance, then get insurance. Do you need to have your own UPC codes? Lonnie asks. Yes, you will need to have your own UPC code. If you're testing, to create a new listing, you need a UPC code, unless you are, like, you get like something called an exemption, a GS1 exemption, I think. I've never done that. I always get a UPC, get it from Nationwide Barcodes. It's super cheap.
Christy's done that, so you can ask questions in the group.
Let's see, what tools do you use for PPI, such as Keyword Inspector or whatever you use? So for finding keyword ideas, I use, we use the Amazon search bar. That's my absolute favorite. Like what we did tonight with the rabbit trail calls, to find what people are searching for, find the keywords, and then match it up with products. So that's my favorite tool for that, honestly, is the Amazon search bar. So what else we got?
So, oh, that's not. Somebody's asking, do I need to put the UPC number on the product? You don't need the UPC number code on a sticker for the product. You would just be covering it up with the label that Amazon gives you. But you do need the UPC number to put in when you're creating the listing on Amazon in the Seller Central.
Okay, so Roxana asked, what happens if you, like, a home company tells you it's out of stock when you go back to reorder? Okay, so that's the beauty of having a product that's generic, non-brand driven, that's easy to replicate, is like those items we found tonight, those companies, like that 26 California wholesale company, there are so many other companies that have that exact same product, that if you ordered it from them for a test and then you go back to them afterwards and they don't have it anymore, you're going to be able to find that, like that refrigerator bin liner. Oh my gosh, so many companies will have that. But at that point, it's proven too. So you could then decide to go ahead and source overseas if you wanted to. But if you just, let's say that after your first 12 sold really well, and then you couldn't find it anymore, that's another thing, to make sure that the company you're buying it from, that it's not a closeout. Because some of these companies, for example, will have items on their page that are generic, non-brand driven, but they're closeout items or they're clearance items. You might want to make sure before going forward with it that it's something that they continually sell. But if they say they continually sell it and you go back and they don't have it for whatever reason, then you're going to be able to find it from somewhere else. What tools and extensions would you guys recommend? So the ones that we did, real quick, show you. I had a lot of people asking which ones I've used tonight. So this one right here is Rev Seller, R-E-V Seller. This, of course, is Keepa, the Keepa graph. And then on the search results page, this is DS Amazon Quick View. This D is in David, S is in Sam, Amazon Quick View. And it's really cool. It shows you price history, BSR history, and then, but I like it because it shows me the rank really quickly. I don't have to go into the listing to see the rank. And then, of course, Jungle Scout up here at the top, and then Scope down here at the bottom.
And you know what? Somebody had asked, and I answered through text about a keyword. So how do you, is there a free tool that will help with the keywords? So once you've found out what keywords are being used to find that product, Scope has in their free trial, if you go to a specific item and you run Scope on that item, what we've been doing is running it on the landing page. So when you do a search for like the black balloons, initially you have a list of the search results, right? So that's where we were running the Chrome extension, Jungle Scout Chrome extension, and the Scope Chrome extension. But if you click on one of those and you run Scope there, it will give you, the free version will give you 3 keywords or key phrases that are used with that product. So the paid version gives you more, but that is a free way to gather some keywords as well.
Okay, so to answer Warren's question about you do not need the UPC number on your packaging, and you do not need the barcode on your packaging unless you just want to. And then Fong was talking about the covering up with Amazon. So if if you've sold on Amazon before at all or done a listing and sent something into Amazon, they will give you what they call an FN SKU label, and I'll type it in the chat. It's it's Amazon's barcode essentially.
Right.
And so if you're doing retail arbitrage, and all retail arbitragers on here know this, if you have to cover up the actual barcode on an item with Amazon sticker, with the FN SKU. It's the something, I don't know what FN stands for, but you have to cover it up. And so with private label, you will also need it, but there's not necessarily anything to cover up because you're not putting a barcode on there, but you will still need Amazon sticker. You can have Amazon put it on for you if you want to. It's like 20 cents, I think. But if you're using a prep company, they'll just do it for you as well.
And eventually you could have it printed on your packaging if you go that route. I wouldn't do that initially. Okay.
Oh, Brent has a good question for you, Jenny. When you asked me, I take your product out of your packaging and place it in my own. What about the instruction sheet, which may be included? How to fold the cake box, for example. Do we need to change that, or may we ask their permission to use their sheet?
That's a good question. You're gonna have me answer that one?
Well,
That's
I thought, you know question. What, I thought which way he was going was I thought it was more about information and kind of like your book.
I would say at that point you could probably put your own instructions on something to include. I also think, I mean, you could, if they're letting you take it out of the box and putting it in their own, you could include their instructions. It kind of depends on what the product is for how I would pursue that.
I can answer that too. I didn't read far enough before I tagged you on it.
No, that's all right.
So I have a product, Brent, that has instructions like wash instructions on the back of it. And so I just asked permission to copy those instructions and put it in on my package, and they were totally cool with that. So for an insert, I just asked them if you could switch. They're not going to care, most likely. You just would want, like, if their brand name is on that insert, you just wanted to create new ones that have your brand name on it.
Right. Some things I was just going to say, like, I think on that same product you were talking about, Ryan, some products have like a tag or something that's hidden, you know, towels or something like that. Right. And that tag will have a different brand than what you're selling it under. It's not a big deal. It's just not a big deal. People aren't going to, you're looking for generic, non-brand driven items. People aren't going to remember the name of your brand.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's true. That's a concern, the trademarking. So that's why you just ask permission.
Yeah.
And wash instructions, care instructions, they're not going to care about that kind of stuff. What margins are you generally comfortable with when ordering product from a wholesaler? That's depends on every person. For me, I like to make 50%. So if I buy something for $10, I'd like to make $5. Some people want to make 100% return. Some people are okay with 30% return. I typically say whatever margins you're comfortable with for like online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, move that over into private label and do at least that.
For me, it depends on how much I can automate it. So if I can completely automate it, I'll take $1 every day, you know, if I'm not ever dealing with it and it's a simple product to move. That's not what I'm looking for, but I would be happy to take that 500%. That would
be good.
Yeah, no, but would be awesome. I like to look for 100%. I mean, it's totally doable. And I like to get my perceived value up. And I talk about that in the book, the Hunt method for bundling, how to increase that perceived value so you can have a higher price point and you're making a higher profit. So I say go for what
Steven said. Kent asked about what to do with ingredient lists. So I guess if that's like food, I don't private label food. Not that I'm too scared about it necessarily. It's one that I would. Okay, I did say earlier about the insurance issue. I have done coffee, and so with coffee, there's only one ingredient. So if you were going to, so let's say for example, you were private labeling a barbecue sauce. If you go to trade shows, and they have grocery items, you're gonna find somebody that has barbecue sauce or some kind of sauce or some kind of jelly, and there's gonna be ingredients for it. So you would just get permission from that company. If you were saying, can I take your barbecue sauce out of its pack? It wouldn't be out of its package. It'd be more for the company like that. It would be, instead of your label on that barbecue sauce, can you put my label on it? Again, their minimums are probably going to be higher because they're doing the work on that end. There's not really a way to take barbecue sauce out of its package and put it into your own. But they would just then label your label with the ingredient list that's on their stuff. Roxana, you can find Jenny's book in the Facebook group. If you go to Jenny's, the easiest place, just go to the photos.
Yeah, go to the photos. You'll see the cover there, and it's in the description for that. It is only available right now in this Facebook group. And then somebody else, Rick, had asked, is it allowable within Amazon TOS to include something that directs people to register their product so I can build a list? There's some tricky ways to do this. You have to be smart and play. You're playing on Amazon Sandbox. You got to play by their rules.
Right.
And so what I would recommend is if you're going to include something where there could be this is a whole nother topic actually. But if you were to include like a booklet, a how-to, like different ideas, or like recipes, right? Let's say you have a cookbook. You could put something in the cookbook at the back of it that would, or even in the front of it, in the cookbook that would direct people. It's a QR code or something, directs them to a website where they can have videos of the recipes being made or something like that. And so that's there. And then from there you can collect, harness their contact information. But to come right out and ask for it, you got to be really careful with that. I would just continue to throw value and add value and harness it creatively.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Stephen said that Annie in the Facebook group asked, when we find an item from a supplier and you see the same exact item on Amazon, is it still okay to create a new listing under my brand? Absolutely. So then we get into what we call Me Too products, right. And nobody wants to see 10 listings for the exact same item under different brands. So the answer is yes, you can do that, but I would think about ways to make it different.
Yep.
Maybe bundle it with something else, do a 2-pack, a 3-pack, a 5-pack, whatever it is to make it a little bit different. But the answer is yes, you can have the exact same item under a different brand. And you can even launch, there's another trick you can do is if you got one product selling well under one brand, you can launch that exact same product under a different brand under your same store.
And target a different audience or a different category or whatever, yeah. We're getting into a lot of the nitty gritty for
That's true.
And honestly, Ryan and I love this stuff. We could go on for hours, which we already have. So we just love this. We're so excited for CES to be able to sit down with a lot of you guys. And in fact, we're going to be doing a private label live conference. I'll just throw this out there. It's in October. Jim mentioned it in one of his newsletters. It's under the events section in the Facebook group. It's just to save the date. I forget. I think it's the third weekend. It's down at Brett's.
19th to the 21st.
There you go. It's down at Brett's place in Yorba Linda. Amazing facility. So we're going to be doing we love this stuff. We could talk all night about it with you guys. We really love the communication and interaction with you guys. So post your questions in the group. I'm kind of thinking we're going to need to cut it. We're at 10 after almost.
Yeah, I'm going to answer these last two here real quick. Okay. Brent asked about UPC on the item for selling on other sites. Yes, if you have a desire to sell on other sites, you could put your UPC on the packaging. Totally fine doing that. Right. If you do that, then just make sure that you cover it up for Amazon. Jonathan, I found a niche that is profitable but had a lot of sellers who have a lot of fake reviews, bad products. Would it be bad to try and go into that market since it seems users have been burned by bad products? It depends. Does it pass the 7-step test? Is there enough demand? Is it too competitive? Maybe you could be the bright light in a bad area on Amazon. It just really depends. But if it's too competitive, usually you're going to find fake reviews and all that on very competitive items because that's where a lot of sales happen. And so most likely it's going to be too competitive. So for that reason, I'd stay away, but just test it. If you have a company you can get it from cheap and easy and you want to test it, go for it. There's no reason why you can't test it. But guys, test.
You might also pay attention to some of those reviews. They might say, well, I wish this was metal, or I wish this was plastic instead of metal. So you can look at how you can solve some of the problems that are brought up in the reviews, and then you can compete differently with the other listings. Cool. Thanks, you guys.
Right. I think that's it. We'll cut it off, guys. If you have any other questions, please post it in the Facebook group in the comments to this, or just a new post. Either way is fine. But it's so fun. Thank you for being on here for 2 hours and 9 minutes. That's cool. It's a long webinar. You guys are awesome. As you can tell, we enjoy this stuff. We love serving. We think this is the best private label Facebook group that's out there. It's super focused. It's super active. Ginny and I are in there every single day, trying our best to answer all the questions. But we have a lot of awesome people in there helping. Lisa's in there, Gail, Abe, Christy. Steven. I'm going to miss people if I start mentioning a bunch of names. But
big shout out to Steven tonight.
Yeah, he helped us out a lot. Appreciate you, buddy. So thanks again for being on. Guys, if you have questions, the Facebook group is where the mentoring happens. We are there. We care about you. We want to help you out. Let us know how we can help you move forward. So
cool.
Awesome. Jenny, thanks for doing it with me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.